He appeared as a tortoise. So the Lord manifests himself in various forms. But of all these forms, his form as that of a human being is most appealing and greatest of all his beings. Krishnero jotiko bhala tar moddhe narolila naro goku tahara swarup. Of all the pastimes of the Lord, his pastimes as that of a human being, assuming a human-like form, is the greatest. Because Naru means human and Goku means form. A human-like form is his Swarup, his original. In that context, we can consider the concept that man has been created according to the image of God. Man has been created according to the image of God. It is not that the Lord has become a human being, but actually a human-like form, which is with two arms and a head and so forth. That human-like form is his Swarup, is his original form. And according to that form, he has created the human. Human beings have got a form identical to the form of the Lord. The only difference is the Lord's form is transcendental. His form is spiritual. His form is composed of three spiritual elements, we can say. That's eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Ishvaraha, Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha. His Vigraha, his form, is Sat, means eternal. Chit means fully conscious, full of consciousness or knowledge, and Ananda is bliss. His form is of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Whereas our forms are Panchabhutatma, made of 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air. So the Lord comes, assuming his human-like form. He takes birth like a human child. Takes birth. And then he grows from childhood to boyhood. And then when he assumes his Navakishore form. Navakishore, from boyhood, it is about to reach youth. That is about 15 years, just about to be 16. And that is his eternal form. He assumes that form and he remains that way throughout. Although Krishna performed his pastimes on this planet for about 140 years, even though when he was 140 years old, he looked just like 15 years old. That is his Navakishore, his eternally beautiful transcendental. So on this day, Krishna appeared. So we'll discuss about Krishna's pastimes today. But first we can have a little treatment. How many of you like to chant the holy name of God? Okay. So we'll start with chanting of the holy name.
I'd like to just say one more thing. We've got a humble request for you to quickly move because there's at least 200 people and they're really eager to see the deities. So please do it very quickly. There's an extra donation box if you'd like to offer donation. Just move quickly. We're really sorry for the situation, but it's just it's a big crowd still waiting to take action. Thank you very much.
We feel very happy that so many of you came and you are undergoing so much difficulties to have the darshan of it. So two thoughts are coming to my mind. One is we need a bigger temple. And the other is why do you come only on this particular one day in a year? Why don't you come every day? If not every day, why don't you come on every Sunday? We have our programs every Sunday in the evening. We call it the Sunday Love Feast. We serve delicious, transcendentally delicious Krishna Prasad. So you all can come and partake to the evening program here. So please keep coming. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityananda Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyakradishutari Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasadi Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura Hare Krishna. This Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's a prayer to Krishna, urging to him, please deliver me from this miserable material existence and allow me to develop a loving relationship with you. And please allow me to render loving service to you as an expression of my love to you. We need to offer this prayer to Krishna, especially when we realize that in this material nature we are suffering. Our existence in this material nature is of intense suffering. Although everyone is trying to enjoy, or some even think that they are enjoying, but that concept of enjoyment is only illusory. There is no enjoyment, there is no actual suffering. And no one wants to suffer. Therefore, we have to find a way out, and Krishna has made that arrangement. Krishna sends his devotees to remind us about our suffering condition and the way out of that suffering condition. Krishna himself comes to remind us how we can get out of this miserable material existence. Constitutionally, in our actual situation, we all are joyful. Just as Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha, we, due to being Krishna's parts and parcels, we, the living entities, are also Satchidananda. We are also eternal. We are also full of knowledge. We are also full of joy. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. So, but the thing is that we have forgotten our actual identity. We are spiritual, our identity is spiritual, but we are conditioned, we are illusioned to think that this material body is our actual identity. That is the unfortunate conditioning that we have been trapped into. In this material nature, we all are considering, we all are thinking that this body is ourself. But in reality, the body is not ourself. The body is only an external property. The body that is made of matter is actually inert. Matter is inert. This body made of matter is inert. But this body has become conscious. Why and how? Because of the presence of the soul. And the soul is our actual identity. The soul is our actual self. And as long as the soul is in the body is conscious, the body is alive. The moment the soul leaves the body becomes dead. Which means the body made of inert matter, the body made of dead matter becomes dead. So who is our actual self? Who are we actually? Are we this body? No. Our actual identity is the soul. Now we become aware of that fact only when we become exposed to that information, and that information comes from the spiritual source. Krishna himself gave that knowledge. Krishna himself gave that information. As a matter of fact, Krishna gave that information only at the very beginning stage of Bhagavad Gita. The first instruction that he gave, the moment Krishna started to speak Bhagavad Gita, that was the first instruction that he gave. Incidentally, how many of you are reading Bhagavad Gita? How many of you are not reading Bhagavad Gita or have not read Bhagavad Gita? So, those who haven't read Bhagavad Gita, I will request you all to please read this book. It's a wonderful book with amazing spiritual information. And these informations are very important. Isn't it important to receive knowledge? Or should we remain in ignorance? Is it desirable to remain in ignorance, or it's desirable to receive knowledge? And what is knowledge? Knowledge is information. When you get the right information, we are situated. When you don't have the information, we are in. So if we need information about the spiritual reality, then the information is given by the Lord himself. And that is Bhagavad Gita. So now tell me, is it necessary to read Bhagavad Gita? How many of you think that it's necessary to read Bhagavad Gita? Okay. Thank you very much. So, I'll just briefly, before I get into Krishna Janmashtami issue or Janmashtami topic, I'll briefly discuss about Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is actually giving us information that our actual identity is spiritual. The background of Bhagavad Gita is the battle. A terrible battle is about to start. It's one of the greatest world war that actually took place. The entire world was involved in this battle. And the entire world was involved in these two sides. The side of the Pandavas and the side of the Kauravas. They belong to the same family. They're two branches of the same family, cousins. Two brothers, children. Pandu's children, Pandu and Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra and Pandu are two brothers. Dhritarashtra's sons are Duryodhana and his other 199 brothers, and Pandavas are 5 brothers headed by Yudhishthira, and the greatest warrior among that group is Arjuna, a great devotee. The Pandavas are great devotee of Krishna. And Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana's son, and his brother, known as Kauravas, they are somehow opposed to the Supreme Personality. So this is how we can see that there are two sides. One side is those who are lined up with the Lord and those who are opposed to the Lord. These two natural sides in this world are the theists and atheists. So anyway, these two sides have gathered in this battlefield of Kurukshetra, and the battle is about to start. Arjuna, seeing who had to fight with, declined to fight. He told Krishna, and Krishna was Arjuna's charioteer. Krishna chose to become Arjuna's charioteer. So here you can see how merciful the Lord is, that He becomes even His devotee servant. Chariot driver means a chauffeur in today's context. Chauffeur. The chauffeur is a kind of a servant who drives your car. Those days they didn't drive cars, they rode chariots. Maybe it's an armored car. But Krishna agreed to become Arjuna's chariot driver. So anyway, Krishna is there, and Arjuna is very, very close to Krishna. Arjuna is a great devotee of Krishna. So Arjuna is conversing with Krishna. Arjuna said, Krishna, I can't fight this battle. How can I kill my relatives? How can I kill my grandfather? How can I kill my teacher? How can I kill my brothers? How can I kill my friends? Just for the sake of winning a kingdom. So I rather not enjoy this kingdom which is stained with the blood of my relatives. And Arjuna gave various reasons why he shouldn't fight this battle. But eventually Arjuna submitted himself to Krishna, saying, Krishna, I am completely bewildered. I do not know what I should do. So I am submitting myself to you as your disciple, as your student. So you please instruct me, you please guide me what I should do. And then Krishna started to advise. Do you remember what Krishna told? The first thing Krishna told Arjuna? Krishna told Arjuna, you are speaking like a wise man, but you don't have any knowledge. Meaning, you are speaking like a wise man, but you are a fool. All these arguments and reasons that you have presented, they all are baseless. They are not situated, they are not founded on proper knowledge. Krishna said that because everyone tried to avoid this battle. Even finally Krishna himself went and made a proposal. The consideration actually was over the kingdom. Dhritarashtra's sons illegally took over their kingdom, banished them to the forest for 12 years, and 1 year incognito. And then came back and they claimed their kingdom. Please give us kingdom. But Duryodhana said, no, I want to. You fight. Win your kingdom. He was so convinced that he was going to win the battle that he decided that without the battle I'm not going to win the kingdom. Meaning, in this battle I'll destroy you all, and I will enjoy this unrivaled kingdom over this world. And but everyone tried to convince Duryodhana, keep the kingdom, it's the rightful share. You have already troubled them enough. So now give the kingdom. But Duryodhana was adamant. So the war became inevitable. The final final trial was given by Krishna himself. Krishna went to Duryodhana with a proposal. Okay, you don't have to give them half the kingdom, or you don't have to give them their kingdom back, which is half the kingdom. Give them just 5 villages. But Duryodhana said nothing to do. Without a battle, I won't give the side of the land, the side of the tip of the needle. I won't give them a piece of land the size of the tip of the needle. So the war became inevitable. The two sides now have gathered to fight the war, fight the battle. But now Arjuna is saying, no, I can't fight. He's retreating. Therefore, Krishna actually told him that look, in one hand, all efforts have been made that, to avoid the war, and everyone failed. So now that the war has become inevitable, why are you retreating? Fight. And the other consideration is when a warrior retreats from the battle, runs away from the battle, it's the greatest disgrace to his failure. Because everyone will say he's a coward. And seeing that vast assembly of army, he became afraid and he ran away. That's what people do. They are not going to consider of your noble thoughts. They will simply consider that you have been a coward. And that's going to be the greatest disgrace to your career, your reputation of the world. So after chastising mildly, Krishna started to give advice. He said, Arjuna, there was never a time when those who are assembled here to fight the battle and you and I, there was never a time when we were not there, and there will never be a time when we are not there. And then Krishna actually starts to point out that Arjuna, you are simply identifying everyone according to the bodily designation. You are simply seeing the body. You are not seeing the soul. You are thinking that they will die, but nobody dies. The soul never dies. The soul is eternal. The soul is immortal. So in this way, Krishna takes Arjuna from the bodily platform to the spiritual. And see the wonderful examples that Krishna is giving. He's saying, just consider a body, Arjuna. Is born from a little baby body, it grows to a young man's body, then the body becomes old. Same person. In course of time, the body changes from childhood to youth to old age. Now the body is changing, but does the person change? A simple consideration. The body changes, but do we change? 5-year-old me, 25-year-old me, and 55-year-old me are 3 different persons or the same person? Same person. Although the body changes. So we can see, in spite of the change of the body, the person remains the same. Now Krishna actually makes another point here. When the body will not be there, will you continue to exist? A simple common sense consideration. Think about it. In spite of the change of your body, you remain the same. In spite of the change of the body, you remain the same. So when someday you leave this body, will you continue to be there? How many of you think that you continue to be there? Oh. Okay, very good. So who is that person? Who is that? Huh? The body is gone. The body is left behind at the time of death. Then who is that continues to be there? Yes, I heard some of you are already whispering. It is the soul. So who are you? Body or the soul? Wonderful. See, that's the first. The first instruction that Krishna gave. You know, in how many pages? In 4 lines. So these are, this is how powerful Krishna's presentation is. A really PowerPoint presentation. And then Krishna established the fact that the soul is unborn, eternal, and imperishable. The body may be slain, but the soul is not going to be affected by that. The body can be cut by weapons, body can be burnt by fire, body can be drowned in water and so forth. But the soul is not going to be affected by any of these. The soul cannot be cut by any weapon. Soul cannot be burnt by fire. A soul cannot be drowned in water. And the soul cannot be dried by wind. So which means the soul is totally unaffected. The body may be affected by all these factors, but the soul will not. In this way, after establishing the soul's identity and establishing our identity being the soul, Krishna now goes to the next point. Who is he? And that point actually came in a very beautiful way. After giving this advice and after instructing how a living entity should then become situated in a spiritual practice in order to gain his spiritual identity, that was in the 3rd chapter. Krishna gave that instruction. How a living entity should act, which is known as karma yoga, the yoga of action. Then at the beginning of 4th chapter, Krishna tells Arjuna that Arjuna, I gave this knowledge to the sun god, Vivashwan. And then Vivashwan gave it to his son, Manu. Then Manu gave it to his son, Diksha. And in this way, through a line of disciplic succession among the saintly kings, this knowledge was flowing. But eventually, in course of time, this knowledge was spoiled. Therefore, I am re-establishing this knowledge today through you. Because you are my friend and you are my devotee. So at that point, Arjuna made a very pertinent question to Krishna. Krishna, you were born just the other day. Whereas Vivasvan was born millions of years ago. So how can I understand that you gave this knowledge to Vivasvan? Okay, here I'll ask you one question. Are there living entities in sun planet? Or essential? Sun planet, there are living entities. And in the sun planet, there is a king who is ruling over the sun planet. Who is that personality? Vivasvan. There at different phases, different personalities come and become the king. The present king of the sun planet is Vivasvan. And he came millions of years ago. Now Krishna is telling, I first gave this knowledge to Vivasvan Then Vibhushan gave it to his son, and in this way, through a chain of disciplic succession, this knowledge has been flowing since time immemorial. Now, what is the relationship between Arjuna and Krishna? Cousins. Arjuna's mother and Krishna's father are sister and brother. So they're cousins. So they're cousins, they are of the same age, they're practically born at the same time. I mean, close to each other, almost at the same time they were born. So isn't it natural for Krishna to consider, Arjuna to consider, yeah, what are you talking about? You get to be Russian, you're born with the other kid. Like, just consider if your cousin comes and tells you that he spoke to somebody a few thousand years ago. How you feel? Won't you naturally question, what are you talking about? You're born just the other day, and if your son comes, if your cousin comes and tells that he fought along with Alexander the Great. How do you feel? So he had a similar kind of feeling and doubt. So he asked, what did Krishna? You were born just the other day, but Vivashwana was born so many years ago. Aparoyam bhavati, aparayam bhavati janmu, param janma vivashwana. Kathameta vijanyam tamaro. How can you understand that you spoke to him? Then Krishna starts to speak about himself. Krishna said that yes, although I am unborn, I am not a naked birth. I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I Ajopi son of Vayatma, Bhutanam, Ishvaro son. I am the controller of all that are there. But Prakritim Sham Adhisthaya Sambhavami Atmavaya. Taking advantage of my internal potency, Atmavaya, I manifest. Here is the difference between our appearance and his appearance. We are born being forced by the arrangement of the material nature according to our previous action, karma, and the modes of material nature. We are born, we are forced to take birth. We can't decide ourselves. That I'll be born as a prince. Everybody would like to be born as a prince, but nobody is born as a prince. Why? Because we don't really have the means or ability to decide for ourselves what we want. We are forced into the situation according to our past actions. But that is not the case with Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. That's why he is saying, Bhutanam Ishvaro Krishna. We are controlled, but Krishna is not controlled. He is the controller. He is the supreme controller. He can do whatever he wants to do. But still he comes. Why? In order to protect his devotees and annihilate the demons. He comes to establish the principle of law and order, dharma, sankha. The actual law and order has been designed by the Lord himself, and that is called dharma. Dharma in Sanskrit is not what goes on in the name of religion in today's world. The religions that are there, religions today are different types of faiths. But dharma is not. Dharma is the actual law that has been given by the Lord Himself. Dharmam tu shakshat bhagavat pranam. Actual dharma is the laws given by the Lord. And what that law ultimately implies, that law ultimately means total surrender to the Supreme Personality. Surrender to the Lord is the ultimate dharma. And that surrender is not a forceful surrender. This surrender is not a compulsion, but this surrender is a voluntary submission to the Lord out of our love for Him. And that love for the Lord that leads to, or that begins with the surrender, is called devotional service. So anyway, so Krishna says that Sambhavami Atma Maya. Maya means potency. And Atma means my own or my internal potency. Taking advantage of my internal potency, I manifest myself. Why? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya sadhusha. To protect the sadhus, to protect my devotees, and to annihilate the miscreants. And dharma samsthapana, in order to re-establish the principles of dharma, I come Sambhavami different yugas. So this is a specific age when we are in Kali Yuga. Prior to Kali Yuga, there was a yuga called Dwapar Yuga. And Krishna came at the end, towards the end of Dwapar Yuga. Towards the end in the sense, when Krishna withdrew his pastimes, Dwapar Yuga ended and Kali Yuga began. As Krishna left this planet, Kali Yuga began. And we are into 5,000 years in the age of Krishna. About 5,000 years ago, Krishna left the planet, Kali Yuga began. And for how long this Kali Yuga will last? What is the total duration of Kali Yuga? Very good, 432,000 years. Out of that 432,000 years, only 5,000 years have gone by. So we still have 427,000 years to deal with. And mind you, this Kali Yuga is a terrible age. Karala Vadana Kurha Kalishta Kala. This is the age of quarrel. And the personality who dominates over this age, he spreads his influence through and what are his agenda? His agenda is to promote meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. Kali's business is to promote these undesirable activities. Are these activities desirable? At least to people, those who are situated in knowledge, they know that these are not desirable. But Kali is promoting these activities. Kali is promoting meat eating, cow killing. Kali is promoting intoxication. Is intoxication desirable? Drugs? Of course, alcohol is a different thing here. It's a part of this culture is to take alcohol. Very people don't really understand why. But if we consider what does these things do? What do these things do? What does alcohol do? Doesn't it destroy your intelligence and mind? Drunk means what? When one drinks alcohol, does it become sane or it becomes insane? So that itself proves whether these things are desirable or not. The very word itself is intoxication or intoxicant. Toxin means poison. So they are promoting, they are admitting that this is poison. Now, is drinking poison a desirable action? No. Illicit sex, is it desirable? No. Gambling, is it desirable? No. But look at today's world. These are the 4 most prominent activities. Practically, the world today is revolving around these 4 activities. Once somebody told me that the most lucrative business today is meat or cow killing, drug trafficking, or bootlegging, supplying intoxication, prostitution. So that shows that today's world, these are the most prominent activities. But a thoughtful person must consider, are these activities desirable? You know something, 5,000 years ago these activities were not at all prevalent. Parikshit Maharaj, who was the ruler of that time, he saw Kali and he banished him from his kingdom, recognizing his agenda, recognizing his purpose. Then Kali begged for his life. Parikshit Maharaj forgave him, but he banished him from his kingdom. Then Kali said, please, you are ruling over the entire earth planet. Where can I go? Give me some place to live. So Parikshit Maharaj gave him these 4 places to live. Where meat eating will go on, where intoxication will go on, where prostitution and illicit sex will go on, and where gambling will go on. Kali looked around everywhere and he said, look, these activities will go to your place. Your place is completely devoid of these activities, so where shall I go? See, Parikshit Maharaj is the ruler of the entire earth planet. And this actually shows that in the entire earth planet, these activities were not going on at the time because Kali didn't have any place to go. So then Parikshit Maharaj gave the 5th place, where gold or wealth will not be used in the service of Krishna. That will be the 5th. So this is how you can see where actually Kali is situated. Where there is wealth that is not being used in the service of the Lord, how is that wealth utilized? If somebody has money, what does he do with money? Isn't it? Intoxication, gambling, illicit sex. So anyway, in this way, 5,000 years ago, these activities were not going on at all. But today, within 5,000 years, these activities have become the most prominent and most desirable activities in this world. Everyone is just enamored to indulge in these activities. But Krishna has come to establish dharma. So, establishing dharma means these undesirable activities which are actually the root of sinful activities, which is the very place of this degraded age of Kali, should be avoided. Therefore, in Iskcon, everybody is expected to follow 4 regulative principles. What are those 4 regulative principles? What are those 4 regulative principles? Total negation of these 4 activities. Kali's places are meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, and gambling. So Iskcon's agenda is no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling. And as a result of that, following these activities, does the life become clean and healthy? Yes. At least meat-eating people had this understanding, but now the world is becoming aware. They are recognizing that meat-eating is bad. They are saying, go back to vegetables. Take a lot of vegetables. They are seeing how meat-eating is affecting. And everybody, every intelligent person can recognize, whether they are addicted to it or not, but they at least recognize that intoxication is bad. Intoxication is harmful. And everybody will admit that illicit sex is undesirable. And what to speak of gambling? I heard that in Las Vegas, no one became a millionaire. But the millionaires are rich people pockets. So by gambling, you don't win, you lose. So anyway, in order to develop our loving relationship with Krishna, we must become situated on the path of dharma. In order to accept Krishna's supremacy and his authority, we must abide by his law. A simple consideration. So that's what Krishna is suggesting. Dharma samsthapana. He came to re-establish dharma, which has been lost in today's world. So Krishna came, and how did Krishna come? Krishna didn't come in various ways. How did Krishna come? As Meena, as a fish incarnation. Satyavratana saw a small little fish. And that fish became bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the purpose of the Lord appearing to the fish was to rescue the Vedas, because now the world was going to be devastated with a massive flood. Everything is going to be drowned. These partial annihilations take place from time to time. But there is a need for saving the transcendental knowledge that we are trying to do. And the species of life also is saved. So Meena, then he appeared as Kurma. Just appeared. Varaha. He just appeared from the nose of Lord Brahma, sneezed, and a small little creature came up. And that creature kept on going bigger and bigger. He became so big that he rescued the earth planet from the lower region of the universe, where the earth actually fell. Then he appeared as Lord Nishingadev. How did he appear as Nishingadev? From a pillar. Hiranyakashipu asked his son, Prahlad, who was a great devotee of the Lord. Hiranyakashipu was an enemy to the Lord. He considered that the Lord was his enemy. So he wanted to kill him. But his son became a devotee. And he was very, very upset with him. So much so that he even tried to kill his son, but he failed. Because when the Lord protects somebody, who can kill him? So Prahlad was protected by the Lord, time and time again. And then finally, when he failed completely, Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, he asked, where is your Hari? Meaning, where is your Supreme Personality of Godhead? And he said, he's everywhere. He's everywhere. Then he asked, is he there in this pillar? Because he thought that that's the most unexpected place where somebody can be. And he said, yes, he is in this pillar. And he broke the pillar. Just feel so powerful. Just one blow of his bare hands. But from there he emerged as unique form, a half lion, half man. And the Lord appeared and there was a big fight between Nrsimhadev and Hiranyakashipu. And finally the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu, who was otherwise invincible. He practically became immortal, as the Lord said. So in this way we can see the Lord can come in so many ways. When he came to rescue Gajendra, the king of the elephants, he came directly from Vaikuntha, riding on Garura. Garura se Garura ke bichhare. द्वारका से चले गोपाल गरुड़ के बिछारे चक्र से ग्राहों को मारी गजराज के दुखारे. He came from Dwarka riding on Garuda, and with his disc he killed the crocodile and rescued the king of the elephants. But in this particular form, Krishna, he came as the son of Devaki and Lakshmi. And that is the time, on a specific time, specific day, on the 8th day of this particular month, which is Shravan. On the 8th day of the waning period of the moon. Moon has two phases, waxing period and waning period. Each one goes to 15 days. And this is how a month has 15 days of waxing and 15 days of waning. So in the waning period, on the 8th day of the waning period, the Lord appeared at midnight. So we are going to celebrate Janmashtami tomorrow. According to our calculation, today is the 7th day of the waning period. Tomorrow there will be Janmashtami. At midnight we will celebrate Krishna Janmashtami. Thank you all very much. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. So tomorrow we will continue, as it was announced, that tomorrow morning there will be a Bhagavatam class. So we can go into more details about Krishna's pastime. And today it was just a prelude, a introduction. So thank you all very much. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe a few minutes we can invite some questions. Yes. Is there any?
I have a big voice.
Okay, at least I can do it. Are you comfortable sitting on the floor? Yes. Sure. Yes.
Sir, I am just, I cannot say very new and several months. And I accept that I was not able to read all the books yet. I'm just a baby starting. But the way I understand the book, I can understand. But I don't know, this is a question. I just want to understand more and more and more.
Yes, sure.
Maybe I'm not alone. So what I mean, the way I assist you, what is our role as a human being in this planet? Huh? Aside from that, God created the same. Repeatedly that God created everything aside the 8,400,000 species in this planet alone, probably. Now, how about, because God created perfectly, according to my understanding, all these planets, all these universes, Milky Way and everything, without colliding. I think there is no collision in it. It's perfect. Now, God created us, the human being, aside from other animals or whatever. How come? What is our purpose in this planet? Why is it? I know God created us to be perfect, to be good like Him,
Very
enjoy
good.
life.
Yes.
But how come people are so?
Okay,
We are
very
not.
good.
We are not in a line according to the wishes of our beloved God, Krishna.
I got your question. Should I answer
My
now?
question is, like this, not yet, because I have so many, not yet.
Okay.
That's why
Very good.
we always say that people are saying that we are materialistic. I think God created everything with a certain purpose. Use it nicely, like makeup. Let's say me. If I put my lipstick in a different version, I will ugly like a clown. If you use it in the right way, we use it. It's like this alcohol.
Thank you.
Alcohol, we use it for different
Okay.
alcohol
Wait.
for
Now,
whatever.
now let me answer the question.
Okay.
Did everybody hear the question? Okay. Anyway, the sum and substance of the question is, the Lord created everything in the most perfect way. Like in the universe, there are so many planets, they are moving, but there is not a single instance where one planet collided with another one. So this is how the Lord has made the arrangement. And there are 8,400,000 species of life. And the human beings are, we got the human form. Now, what is the purpose of this human form? Like, what should we do? Yes, very good question. Did I summarize it all right? Did I summarize your question properly? Oh. So, very good question, isn't it? Like, what is, the Lord has created us. Lord has created everything in the most perfect way. Now, He created us, the human beings. Now, what is the purpose of getting this human form? What should we do? Should we just put our lipstick nicely as we could? Waste our time drinking alcohol? Yes, good point. So in this way, first thing we have to consider, what is so special about the human form of life? You know what's so special about the human form of life? As opposed to other species? The human form of life provides us with an opportunity, not only with a very advanced intelligence, but an ability to expand our consciousness. Only human beings can do that. A human being can expand his consciousness to such an extent that he can comprehend the world. He can understand who God is. How? Because the human beings have the ability, okay, in this way, the Vedic scriptures are classifying different types of living entities according to the consciousness. There are some living entities whose consciousness is covered, practically covered. They are the trees and plants. They are also conscious, they are also alive, but their consciousness is practically covered. Then the next category is shrunken consciousness. from worms and insects up to the animals, they fall in the category of shrunken consciousness. They're conscious, you can see that they have consciousness, but their consciousness is in a shrunken state. Then, the third category is called the bud state of consciousness. Like a bud of a flower is apparently in a shrunken state. The petals are in a shrunken state. But the bud has the ability to bloom. So human beings fall in that category. Apparently the human consciousness is also shrunken. Like as the expression goes, a man is a civilized animal. In a way, the man are also animalistic. Their consciousness is shrunken, but a little civilized. But the human beings have a wonderful prerogative, wonderful opportunity. They can expand, just as a bud can bloom into a flower, a human consciousness can expand and bloom. But for a bud to bloom into a flower, two factors are necessary. The light of the sun and shelter of the earth. So when a human being becomes exposed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is compared here to the sun, under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, bona fide teacher, then his consciousness begins to expand. And then when he understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead completely, that stage is called fully blooming state of consciousness. And so this is how the human beings have been awarded with an opportunity to expand his consciousness to an unlimited extent, whereby he recognizes his identity being spiritual in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the source of everything spiritual. So that is the human, that is the purpose of human. Be guided and directed by a qualified teacher towards the Supreme Personality. Thank you very much. Yes?
Thank you for a wonderful class. Maharaj, my question is in two parts. You mentioned about the four principles that we need to follow. Especially with preaching to youth these days. We try so hard and they still don't understand, like, re-enjoying people, re-enjoying participation. And it's said that devotees are compassionate, so how far do we need to try preaching to them?
Okay, very good question. Your name is Janmashtami. You are a student of medicine in the third year. So Jagannath Gopal had a very nice question that while preaching to the students, when we discuss about these four principles, they have difficulty recognizing the importance of them, because they say that, well, I enjoy eating, I enjoy drinking alcohol, and probably also say that I enjoy having sex. Yeah. So it's difficult for them to accept these four principles as a norm, basic standard for spiritual expansion. The thing is that, like initially there is no need to put so much emphasis on these four principles. Initially we put the emphasis on chanting the holy name. And if they take to the chanting of the holy name, right, and develop their loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then gradually they'll develop the taste for these four principles and they'll accept it. Because when somebody is not really prepared, if you try to impose these factors then it will be difficult for them. Therefore, first you prepare them. And the preparation is to bring them to the spiritual platform by allowing them or enabling them to develop their loving relationship with Krishna. And then the rest will happen. Yeah, sure.
The second part is when we do this kind of preaching and say a devotee, who's chanting maybe around, they suddenly drift off, even though we try to bring them back and they drift off completely. Do we see it as we haven't done a good job at doing it? Do we take it personally, or do we say, okay, this is Krishna's desire?
Very good point. Yeah? Like, in spite of taking to Krishna consciousness when someone drifts away from Krishna consciousness, should we take it to be our own shortcoming, our own failing, that we could not keep them there? Well, it's good to take it, it's good to think in that way. But the ultimate consideration actually is that everybody has his own independence to decide what he wants to do. On your part, you try your best to give them Krishna consciousness and keep them at the feet of Krishna. But if they drift away, what can be done? Still you maintain your relationship with them and try to bring them back to the path of Krishna consciousness. Maintain your friendship with them. And probably they will come back. Actually, once they got the taste of Krishna consciousness, it will be difficult to stay away from it. One may drift away, but like when the suffering condition comes, then they will begin to wonder, did I do the right thing? Therefore, we say that we don't consider that a wedding party to be a good time for preaching. Rather, we like to go to the crematorium at the time of funeral. That's the time they are more receptive. When they are enjoying, it will be very difficult to convey. But when they are suffering or when they are seeing the reality of this material existence, being suffering condition, then they will rather be receptive. Yes.
As I've understood, we are stored in the body like we different entities. We go through a life cycle of the body, the in the family. What is the life cycle of the soul? Is it just comes?
Oh yeah. The soul doesn't have any life cycle.
How do we say that the soul has also moved into the part of
Okay. That is so the question is that the body goes through different phases of development. Now, what is the cycle, the development of the soul, or you can say the life cycle of soul? So that's why I have a little difficulty understanding, but we clarified it afterwards. He actually meant what is the way to make the soul's spiritual progress. What are the phases of soul's spiritual progress? Right? That's it. Yeah, the soul's phases of spiritual progress is that from a neophyte stage to little mature stage and then perfect. At the neophyte stage, he accepts Krishna and he recognizes himself or considers himself to be a devotee. But he doesn't recognize others to be devotees. He doesn't recognize others. But at an advanced stage, which is called Madhyamadikara, at that stage, he recognizes Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He recognizes Krishna's devotees and he develops friendship with them He recognizes those who are innocent and in need to understand Krishna, and he recognizes those who are offensive. And accordingly, he has his specific attitude to it. That towards Krishna he has love, towards Krishna's devotees he has friendship, towards the innocent he has compassion, and towards the offenders he has disregard. So that is the second stage. And the advanced stage, the purified stage is that he is completely absorbed in his loving relationship with Krishna. And that is called Uttama. So these are the different phases of spiritual development. Thank you very much for a very nice question. Yes?
God created bad things. God created God, why is it bad things?
Very good one. Jai Shri Shri Radha Gopinath. Jai Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. Jai Shri Shri Gopinath. Very good question. What's your name? Vishesh. Very good, Vishesh. So Vishesh's question is, why did God create bad things? Right? God didn't create bad things. But absence of God is bad. The things that do not take us, that takes us away from God is bad. And things that take us towards God is good. Alright? So can you say that God created bad things? No. Bad things are we create. When we go away from Him, that is bad. When you go towards Him, that is good. Now what does He want? Does He want us to go away from Him or go towards Him? So what will you do? Very good. Thank you, Vivek. So I'll stop now. Okay, you have a question? Go ahead. Yeah, last question. Yeah, बताइए. कौन? अर्जुन ने. युधिष्ठिर ने. हाँ, वो क्षत्रिय लोग उस समय गन नहीं करते थे. वो उनका वो इट वाज ओके. क्योंकि कुरुक्षेत्र धर्म क्षेत्र है. धर्म क्षेत्र में लड़ाई होने से लड़ाई का फल धर्म के अनुसार. इसलिए भगवत गीता का पहले श्लोक क्या है? धर्म क्षेत्र कुरुक्षेत्र सामग्री. Anyway, his question is, Arjuna was a devotee of Krishna, then why did he gamble? In Dwapar Yuga, in the previous age, the warriors, it was a part of their culture to fight and to gamble. That was one of the things. So gambling was a kind of sport for them. So they used to gamble. And then the question is why the battle of Kurukshetra was fought in Kurukshetra. That question has been answered by Krishna at the very beginning of Bhagavad Gita. What's the first verse of Bhagavad Gita? Dharmakshetre Kurukshetra. Kurukshetra is the Dharmakshetra, the land of Dharma. The land of Dharma is the place where righteous activities prevail and sinful activities are common. Thank you all very much. So let them have the darshan.
Yes.
Yes.
You have the kirtan now?
Yes.
Karnataka kirtan.
Oh.
Bhakti Charu Maharaj.
Srila Prabhupada. Jai.